is, y'all. So according to an NBA insider, Brett Siegel, the Celtics are not expected to move Derrick White or Jaylen Brown this summer. Now, the Boston Celtics, they're getting a lot of pressure from the media to trade Jaylen Brown and Derrick White because both of these players have massive value. We all know that because of the new CBA rules, teams are not going to be able, they can have 3 stars, but if you have 3 stars on a team, owners are going to end up paying a lot of money. And because of this, you're going to see a lot of teams make huge trades that they may not want to make. This could be a part of the reason why you saw Dallas trade Luka, because they didn't want to give Luka that supermax. So because of this, the Celtics, they're getting pressured to make a massive move this offseason, whether they trade Jaylen Brown, Derrick White, Drew Holiday, or Kristaps Porzingis. I don't think that Jaylen Brown or Derrick White is going to get traded because these guys, they play such a pivotal role on the team, especially Derrick White. We all know Jaylen Brown. He's an NBA Finals MVP, Eastern Conference MVP. We already know Jaylen Brown is the best player on the team. Derrick White, though, in my opinion, is the best third option in the NBA. And with Jason Tatum being out, I think that this is going to be a huge breakout year for Derrick White this upcoming season. With Jason Tatum missing the entire next season with that Achilles tear, I think that Derrick White is really going to show people this next season that he can play at a superstar level. I'm predicting Derrick White to make the All-Star team in the Eastern Conference next year. And I'm also expecting Boston to make a playoff push. Do I think they're going to get to the finals? No. But I can see Boston, getting back to the Eastern Conference Finals next year. I could see that. Now, there's 2 players that they need to seriously consider trading. Number 1, Kristaps Porzingis, right? So Kristaps Porzingis, he's had this illness for about, 6 months now. And Kristaps Porzingis doesn't know what illness he has. This illness, it makes him extremely tired. It makes him have breathing problems on the court. And long story short, he just feels weak, right? And I find this very weird that he doesn't know what the hell it is. And this has been ongoing. Like I said, this has been ongoing for 6 months now, where he's constantly in and out of the rotation. You saw in the playoffs, 1 minute he would start, then he would come off the bench. 1 minute he'd be in the game. We seen Coach Mazzulla say that he had to take him out the game because Porzingis said he couldn't breathe. And I think that this is just a complete waste of time for the Celtics. Porzingis not being available full-time in the playoffs, it hurt Boston. Even though Jason Tatum, he ended up getting injured, game 5 of the series against the New York Knicks. Porzingis, if he would have dropped at least 20 a game, they probably could have still won that series or have had a chance of winning that series. But instead, this guy got some people are saying it's COVID. Some people are saying that it's a chronic illness that I don't want to name out of respect to Porzingis, because I don't wish that on anybody. And to the people on, Twitter that's joking like that, y'all need to chill out, man. Y'all got to be very careful playing with that, man. That's not a joking thing to put on somebody. But they got to get rid of this guy, man. I think that Boston, could still be just as good without Porzingis. And I think that they could end up getting back a player that can fill a similar role as Porzingis, because at the end of the day, he's the third option to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And you don't need a guy like Porzingis, who really, like realistically, Porzingis should be a number 2 option on the team. For the past couple of seasons, he's averaged about 20 points per game. Even this past season, he averaged 19.5, which is, pretty much around the same numbers he's been averaging his entire career. The most he's averaged in the season is 23 points. So he's a 20-point per game player. He can get you 6 to 7 rebounds a game. And I think that that's a player that they can trade and get something back for a player. Even if a player is not as good as Porzingis, if they can just get you at least 10 to 15 points with 7 to 8 rebounds a game, you're good, So I think that's the main player they should consider trading. Now, we got to talk about Drew Holiday, right? I think this is the worst season that Drew Holiday has had in his career. Drew Holiday is 34 years old, and Drew Holiday looks like he's slowing down, y'all. This guy went from being, one of the defensive players of the year. I believe he's won defensive player of the year before. these past 2 seasons has been like a huge drop off for Drew Holiday, man. Obviously he won that championship with Milwaukee, but this past season he averaged 11 points per game. The season prior he averaged 12 points per game. And that's not bad, right? When you're playing on a team with, JB and JT and Porzingis, those numbers are good, but the problem is his defense isn't looking the same. Drew Holiday is supposed to be, a guy that plays really good defense, and we didn't see that this past season. Drew Holiday did not look like one of the best defenders in the league this past season, and because of that, I would consider Drew Holiday a liability. When Tatum eventually comes back from that Achilles tear, if you want to be honest, you really could start Derrick White at point guard. You could put Jaylen Brown at shooting guard, and then you could put Tatum at the 3. You don't need Drew Holiday on this team anymore, y'all. So I think that's another player that they should consider trading. The problem is what point guard are you going to get back for Drew Holiday? Plus, without Tatum, you might need Drew Holiday in that starting lineup until Tatum comes back. So let me know what y'all think about that, man. Who do y'all think the Boston Celtics should trade? Because they are going to have to make a trade this offseason because of the CBA rules. Let me know what y'all think. It's your boy Wavy. I'm out.